St. Charles Clinic, and I hope everyone is surviving all this crazy weather that we've had in January. I'm sure it's brought some of you indoors to the treadmills, and some of you are braving that weather. So today's topic for us is balance. So I have a question for you. If I were to ask you, how is your balance? What would your response be? If your response is, oh, I don't do balance, and balance isn't my thing, or oh, I'm so bad at balance, you're going to be joining the majority of the runners I've been seeing lately. And that involves recreational runners, that also involves my track runners. And we want to kind of ask, like, why do we feel like our balance is bad, and why balance would really benefit us as a runner. So to start with, some of the reasons of why you might be feeling this way is running is typically a very linear sport. We're running from point A to point B with the occasional turn around the block or on the track. So as a result, we're not really using a lot of our lateral stabilizer muscles. We're not running backwards. So this can cause us to have a little bit of instability in some of our prime muscles for balance. So this could be one of the reasons why we think we're not very good at balance. So why is it important? So if we were to break down how we're running, every step we take, we are essentially landing on one foot. What would that be called? That's balancing. So whether you realize it or not, as you're going out for your runs, you're actually balancing the entire time. But how does your balance look? If you have some instability in your balance, then that leg is spending more time on the ground. So if we look at like our ankle, if we're not very strong, when we balance, we might have to correct our ankle from going on the outside. We might be correcting ourselves from caving in. All of this makes us be on the ground longer, which is going to make us spend more time there, and we have to get forward to run. So this is one reason, having a nice strong ankle, so when we land, we want to land on a nice solid leg. We're ready to move on to the next step. So that's one reason why balance is really important when we're running. If you start to do trail running, you're going to really see that you need that stability because of the roots and different walnuts and things like that you're going to run into on the trail. So that's why we want that balance in the leg. If we go farther up the chain and we look at like our hip and our knee, when we're landing, if we don't have a lot of strength in our balance muscles, which we're talking about our core, we're talking about our hips and our glutes, our hamstrings, all of those muscles, when we land, we might be caving in. And if we're caving in, that's going to put a lot of stress on my landing leg, and then you're going to end up having to adjust yourself to fall forward to the next step. So we really want to have that stability that when we land, we're nice and strong, we're on that balancing leg, we're ready to run forward again. So those are a few reasons why we want to have balance as a runner. So what do we do to fix it? And it's the famous thing of we do need to strengthen as well when we're runners. We don't want to just run, we do have to strengthen. Now, you can do simple exercises that can get you back out there running and not take all your time. One thing I like to stress is anything single leg strengthening. If we're standing on one leg when we're running, why not we practice our strength and stability on that single leg? So I'm going to give you 3 brief exercises here on how you can strengthen it, and it won't take you that long. So, first one is working on what's called a single leg deadlift. You can always make these exercises harder, but if your balance is a little off, I would start with no equipment necessary. And what that's going to look like is you're just standing on that one leg, and I do want to make sure you know, when we're strengthening on one leg, we don't want to lock our knee, because then we're just hanging out in our ligaments, and we don't really know what our balance looks like. So we want our knee a little bit bent, and then what we're doing is we're just coming forward, and then when we come up, don't put that foot down and really try to get that balance before we go on to the next one. All right, so it just looks like that. If that is too easy and you feel like you're getting good balance, you can always add a dumbbell in the opposite hand. So that's the first exercise. Second one is over here. Again, working on that single leg strengthening. So we're gonna stand on one leg. Again, a little bit of a bend in our knee. You can tie a band to your banister, doorknob, in a door jamb. What you want is you do want to feel like that band wants to pull you this way, because we want to engage our core muscles, like I had mentioned earlier, helps our balance. So we want to keep that in front of us, but they're like a little bit bent, and then we're just pushing forward and coming back. All right? So this is another great one to do. Doesn't take much time, doesn't take much equipment. All right, and then the last thing I want to show you is just working on our hamstrings and our glutes as well, because this is great for balance and stability. So what you would do is you can kind of come down into a squat and then switch all your weight onto one side. While you're on that side, we're just coming back into extension and really activating those glutes and those hamstrings. This is one you can also do by tying a band to those ankles as well. All right, so these are 3 exercises just to keep into your mind when you're working out. Another great thing to do is if it's an upper body day and you're not doing really heavy weights, you could always do upper body exercises standing on one leg as well, such as doing your bicep curls, raises, and that way you're just sneaking it all into your already set routine. So I hope that this gave you guys some good tips on this gloomy day, and hopefully you guys can be out there running again in February as we get more daylight.